your next today's class, 38th point. Okay, we concluded the 37th point, starting a new I don't know what you call it. Swamiji has given a number. It is a article or passage, I don't know what you call it. It's a new passage, another number. Adhyasam puraskritya sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha. Even the shastriya vyavahara also. Shastriya means even the shastra also is within adhyasa. Okay, shastra is both karmakanda shastra as well as the jnanakanda shastra. So tametam I am reading the bhashya sentence. Tametam avidyakyam atmanatmanor itaretara adhyasam paraskritya sarve pramana prameya vyavaharaha laukikaha vaidikascha pravruttaha sarvani cha shastrani vidhi pratisheda moksha parani. All the shastras. Andre not only the pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, even shastra pramana also is within adhyasa. Even in the shastra pramana to karmakanda, vidhi pratisheda shastram and moksha shastram. Even the moksha shastra is within adhyasa. See, note it. How Bhashyakara is so bold. Even the moksha shastra is also within adhyasa. It's not outside adhyasa. Because Brahma, see, people, Vedanta is an adhyaropapavada shastra. When something is stated, note this point. See, we know it, but we, at the time of applying it, we forget it. That is the thing. Not only you, everybody forgets. It is natural human nature. When we hear a principle, at every stage it has to be applied wherever it is necessary. So, in understanding Vedanta, every sentence has to be understood as an adhyaropapavada prakriya. Even here, when we say pramana prameya vyavahara is within adhyasa, the purpose is not to demean the pramana. See, we, as the statement is stated, we immediately look at the meaning of it. Oh, you mean pramana is a mistake? The pramata is a mistake, pramana is a mistake, and the jnanam that arises as a result of pramana is a misunderstanding. Oh, this is a very difficult to understand. That is not the idea. The pramanas produce knowledge. Knowledge is a knowledge as long as it is about an object. So problem is not there. The idea that the statement pramana is adhyasta is not to prove that the knowledge produced from the pramanas is wrong, is a false knowledge. It doesn't mean that. See, even if it is right knowledge, it is adhyasa. That is the point. See, adhyasa should not be applied to the very knowledge. Adhyasa means misunderstanding. The pramana janyam jnanam, knowledge born of pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, or even shastra pramana, whether karmakanda shastram or jnanakanda shastram. Knowledge born of any pramana is not a misunderstanding. Adhyasa doesn't mean knowledge. See, note this point. Adhyasa doesn't mean knowledge produced by pramanas is a misunderstanding. This is important. Most important. This is where we all commit mistakes. We all misunderstand. Misunderstanding or adhyasa doesn't mean that the knowledge produced by pramana is misunderstanding and not a true understanding. It doesn't mean it. Any pramana which it produces, it is always a right understanding. Not it. Pramana always produces a true understanding. True means what? True to the object about which the knowledge takes place. Okay? A pramana produces any pramana, whether pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, shruti pramana, or what you say, shabda pramana. Any pramana produces knowledge about its objects. The knowledge is a right understanding, true understanding. It's not a misunderstanding. It is not a false knowledge. Okay. Then when you say adhyasa, all knowledge is adhyasa, pramana vyavahara is adhyasa, then what do you mean? This way, okay. If you ask the question, we can understand. But don't jump to conclusion without clarifying it. We take our own meaning and then just go away with it. We take our own meaning and go away with it, which is unintended by Shastra. Shastrena avivakshitam artham. We take a meaning which is not intended by Shastra and just go with the meaning. Pramana-janya jnanam is not a misunderstanding. Then even if it is a right understanding, see like this, Pramana-janya jnanam is always a true understanding, in the sense understanding true to the object. Whatever it is revealing, a pramana, pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, shabda pramana, whatever the pramana that reveals knowledge about its special object, about its own object. Special means its own object. The pramana vishaya, whatever knowledge it reveals, knowledge is always right. Knowledge is not misunderstanding. That means knowledge is not misunderstanding about the object it is revealing. Note it. The pramana-janya jnanam is not a misunderstanding about the object which it is trying to reveal. Then even if it is a right knowledge, it is adhyasa. Take it this way. Even if it is a true knowledge, even if it is a right knowledge, yet it is adhyasa. It only means that Atma and the knowledge of Atma is not pramana-janyam. See, Atma and the knowledge of Atma. Atma means, knowledge means the consciousness. Atma and the consciousness of Atma is not born of any pramana. It doesn't need pramana. Without pramana, it is existing. That's all it means. Any knowledge other than the pure consciousness is an adhyasa. Even if it is true knowledge, even if it is correct knowledge, right knowledge, it is adhyasta. Because even the right knowledge is not the true nature of Atma. It is a knowledge about a given object in the world. Any knowledge that we have is a knowledge about a given object in the world, but no knowledge that is produced by pramana. See, no knowledge that is produced by Shabda as a pramana is the nature of Atma. All the knowledges are vrittis. No vritti is the nature of Atma. Atma's knowledge means consciousness. The consciousness of Atma is not a pramana janyam, it is swatasiddham. The consciousness of Atma, or in other words, knowledge of Atma, knowledge means in the consciousness. The consciousness or knowledge of Atma is a swatasiddham, is not a pramana janyam. Any pramana janyam is adhyastam upon Atma along with pramana. Pramana, pramata, pramana janya jnanam. All that is adhyastam on the Atma itself doesn't need any pramana. That's what it means. So therefore, pramana vyavahara comes into effect. Pramana vyavahara comes into operation, comes to be used. Pramana vyavahara comes to be, you make a vyavahara, okay? The pramana vyavahara that comes into our experience is within adhyasa. That means not seeing the Atma as pure and non-dual consciousness. Then that Atma is taken wrongly, there the adhyasa is. So that means while understanding the Atma, pramana vyavahara is not useful. You have to debunk all pramana vyavahara, then Atma jnana takes place. Atma jnanam is not a pramana janyam. That's what it means. Atma jnanam is not a pramana janyam. Atma jnanam is not even shruti janyam. Note it. Note this point. Atma jnanam, or the consciousness of Atma, is not born of a pramana. It only by debunking all pramatru pramana prameya Atma jnana takes place. Any knowledge that takes place as any knowledge that is born of pramana can only be adhyasta. Any knowledge that is born of pramana can only be adhyasta. The knowledge of the Atman or the consciousness of Atman is independent of pramana operation, pramana functioning. It is independent of any pramana. Pramanas give you right knowledge about a given object. Pramanas have their own objects. Pratyaksha has their own object, Anumana has their own object, Shruti also has its own object. So Pramanas have their own object of knowledge, they reveal the objects, and that knowledge reveals the object. There is an object and the knowledge and the Shruti reveals. But all this is not Atma's real nature. Okay. Therefore, all Pramanajanya Jnanam is not Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is a Swatasiddha Jnanam. It doesn't need pramanas. If it uses pramana, it becomes an adhyastha jnana. Because very pramana is adhyastha. Since pramana is adhyastha, the knowledge it produces also will be adhyastha. See the note. Since pramana is adhyastha, the knowledge it produces is also adhyastha only. Because pramana and pramanajanya jnanam live at the same level. Pramana, pramata, pramanajanya jnanam. Pramata, pramana and pramanajanya jnanam. All of them live at the same level. It is the pramata who knows about prameya. He uses pramana and gains knowledge. Even after gaining knowledge, adhyastha means what? Even after gaining knowledge, and the knowledge is a true knowledge, you remain a pramatru prameya relationship alone. You remain a pramata, and there is a prameya. Pramatru prameya dvaitam remains. Within this dvaita sambandha alone, all pramanas operate. Okay. Then what about Shruti Pramana? That more we will discuss later, but since the doubt may arise, so I just say little and leave it, because that will come anyway later. And we discussed partly also. Partly we discussed before also. So Shruti Pramana is not revealing Atma as a Prameya. Therefore, Shruti Pramana revealing the Atman is of different nature. It is not revealing as a, see two things. One is any pramana operated by pramatru, and knowledge is about prameya. Any pramana in general. Any pramana used by pramatru and the knowledge gained is about prameya. The knowledge gained is about prameya. So it is a pramatru. Therefore, pramatru, pramana, prameya live at the same level. Then the Shruti Pramana, that too Jnanakanda Pramana. That Shruti Pramana, when it reveals Atman, it is not revealing to the Pramata and making Atma as a Prameya. This you noted. Even the Mula Vidyavadins confuse you. I am sorry to say. But they don't confuse you means they don't make this point very clear. Because I suffered a lot with this. Shruti Pramana, Vedanta Jnana Pramana doesn't make Atma as an object, and the knowledge that arises does not arise to Pramatru. Note it. Pramatru doesn't get the knowledge. Note this. Pramatru doesn't get the knowledge. All other Pramanas are operated by Pramatru. Pramatru gets the knowledge. Okay. Pramatru gets the knowledge. And about Prameya, here Atma is not a Prameya, and the knowledge about the Atman, that is Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, doesn't belong to Pramatru. The knowledge of Brahma Jnanam doesn't belong to Pramatru. Pramatru doesn't get the knowledge. He becomes enlightened only by dropping Pramatrutvam. This is the most important point. I also got stuck. You talk to them. They never say Pramatrutvam reveal. Jnanam takes place, you come to know it, you come to understand Jnanam. The same thing they repeat thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Lakhs and lakhs of time. Shruti is a Pramana, you come to understand Brahman, and then so it is, they present as if Jnani is a Pramata and knowledge takes place for him. Jnani is a Pramata and Jnanam takes place for him about Atman. This is how they present. They don't mean it, but the presentation, they won't stop it. They won't mean it, I tell you. I am not finding fault with them. They don't mean it, but they won't stop presenting that way. They will unconsciously, unwittingly confuse you. You talk to the people, Mula Vidya Panditas, what do they say? Shall I tell you for your information? When we were in Rishikesh, we came to Swamiji's Prakriya. left out all Mula Vidya. And me, along with me, there was another brahmachari, was also a follower of Sachidananda Swamiji's Prakriya. We too, because both were brahmacharis alone at that time, I didn't take sannyasa yet. So there was Kashikananda. He's the greatest scholar of those days. Now he passed away recently. Recently means 2 years over, I think. 2 or even more. I think 2 or 3 around. 3 years, I think. So he was a great scholar of Kashi. All Shad Darshanas. He is considered as a great Vedanta. We went there. We asked him, does Jnani have Pramatrutvam? Because this is a confusing thing. They don't clarify. Does Jnani have Pramatrutvam? His disciples, that Swamiji's disciples, were the great scholars. They were also equally great scholars. They were sitting there. When we asked the question to him, and these people interfere and answer. See, when a question is put to Guruji, Guruji should answer. The disciple sitting by there, he should not answer. Okay. Or if he wants to answer, he should say, can I answer? Take permission and answer. You know what he immediately jumps to? Yes, क्यों नहीं होता है? We asked him, ज्ञानी को प्रमातृत्व होता है? It was in Hindi, in Rishikesh we were talking. ज्ञानी को प्रमातृत्व होता है? And you know what he answers? हाँ, क्यों नहीं? प्रमातृत्व होता है? क्यों नहीं? Oh my God. That means jnanam takes place to the pramata. This is the biggest mistake. Atma is, they say Atma is not a Vishaya. Again they say Shruti reveals Atma. This is the biggest confusion. Shruti doesn't reveal Atma. Shruti negates all Anatma and Jnanam remains. Okay? Shruti negates all Anatma including Pramatrutvam. So Jnanam doesn't take place to the Pramatrutvam. Jnanam eliminates Pramatrutvam. It teaches that Pramatrutvam doesn't belong to Atma. That is Jnanam. Pramatrutvam doesn't belong to Atma, and Atma is not a Vishaya. This is the nature of Jnanam. When Aham Brahmasmi, when you say, the Aham thought doesn't apply to Atma. See, when Aham Brahmasmi, when you say, the thought Aham doesn't apply to Atma. I as an Atma, Atma means me. I exist at a level where the word Aham doesn't apply to me. This is Jnanam. You note this. Jnanam arises only when you exist when you understand that I exist at a stage where the Aham word doesn't apply to me. No word applies to me. Yet I am self-shining. I am self-shining. I am self-conscious. Self-conscious means, it's not self-conscious. The English word self-conscious is a different word. I am self-shining. That is the only thing. Self-conscious word, if you use in English, it becomes a different meaning. Atma Chaitanya, in Sanskrit it is okay. Swayam Prakasha is okay. But in English you can't say self-conscious, because self-conscious means objectifying Atma. So you drop that English word, come to Sanskrit word alone. So in your consciousness, the Aham thought doesn't apply. When you understand, when you are consciousness without the Aham thought, that is Jnanam. You are conscious. Consciousness remains. Consciousness is without the I thought. Without the reference of I thought. I thought doesn't exist in your consciousness, you are conscious. You are conscious yet without an I thought existing in you. This is Jnanam. This is simple Jnanam. Therefore, Jnanam doesn't take place to the Pramatru. Note this point. Jnanam doesn't take place to the Pramatru. All other Jnanam takes place to Pramatru. All other Jnanam except Brahma Jnanam. All other Jnanam takes place to the Pramatru. It is the Pramatru that uses Pramana and gains knowledge. After gaining knowledge, he continues to be Pramatru who holds knowledge. He gained knowledge. Who has gained knowledge. After acquiring knowledge, after gaining knowledge, he remains Pramatru with the knowledge of Prameya. He remains Pramatru with the knowledge of Prameya. But whereas in Atma Jnanam, His losing the Pramatrutvam itself is the Jnanam. Not that Pramatru gains the knowledge. Pramata doesn't gain knowledge. Therefore, Aham thought doesn't gain knowledge. I don't understand Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, when I say I am Brahman, it is not that I that understands Brahman. Losing my I-ness and remaining conscious entity is Atma Jnanam. This is such a simple as this. They present as if Jnanam takes place to Pramatru. You listen to them. Don't believe me that I am accusing Mula Vidyavadis. You listen to them. We discussed, we talked to them, we questioned them. You listen to them, what they say. And don't believe me. You go and listen to them, ask them questions. Does Jnanam takes place to Pramatrutvam? Because Shruti is a Pramana. If Shruti is a Pramana, who gains the Pramana Janyam Jnanam? Shruti Pramana doesn't teach Atma as Prameya and retains you as a Pramatrutva. Shruti's teaching doesn't make Brahman as a Prameya and you as a Pramatru. It removes both simultaneously. Brahman as a Prameya and you as a Pramatru. Both go away because both are one, they are not two. They are not two, both are one only. Taking Brahman as a Prameya and yourself as a Pramatru. Both are one Adhyasa, appearing as two aspects of one Adhyasa. Two aspects of one Adhyasa. Here Pramatru, Prameya are not separately two. They are not two. Taking Brahman as a Prameyam means I am Pramatru. I am Pramatru means I take Brahman as a Prameyam. Both are one. They are two sides of the same coin. Okay? Two sides of the same paper. They are not two separate ideas. They are not two separate understandings. Therefore, that is Adhyasa. Therefore, when Pramana removes Adhyasa, Pramana corrects your misunderstanding. How does it correct? First, it doesn't teach you Brahman, it doesn't make Brahman as a Prameya and you as a Pramatru. In the knowledge of the Atman, you remain conscious Atma without yourself being a Pramatru and without conceiving Brahman as a Prameya. You don't conceive Brahman as a Prameya. That means you have no thought which thinks of Brahman as a Prameya. No thought arises. And you, because you don't remain as a Pramatru, it is a Pramatru that entertains a thought about Brahman. Okay. It is a Pramatru that entertains a thought about Brahman. The thought about Brahman is Jagat, nothing but Jagat. Is a wrong thought. A thought about Brahman which is not an object of thinking. A thought about Brahman which is not an object of thinking is naturally a wrong thought, a misunderstanding. What cannot be thought of, if you have a thought about it, what do you call such a thought? Okay? What cannot be thought of, you have a thought about it. What cannot be thought of, you have a thought about it. Then what is the nature of that thought? If Atman cannot be thought of, yet you have a thought about Atman, then that's what it means, misunderstanding. This is what is Adhyasa is. Okay. So therefore, Pramatru, Prameya, Pramana, all these things it negates. Therefore, Shruti Pramanam is not a Pramanam in the normal sense. It is a Pramanatvena Upacharyate. Bhashakara says it is called as a Pramana, not virtually it is not a Pramana. Because Pramana should objectify. And the knowledge that dawns, the knowledge that arises should come to Pramatru. But here, The reality is, the fact is that Shruti neither objectifies Brahman nor the knowledge that arises, it arises for Pramatru. Because it doesn't arise for Pramatru. It removes the very Pramatrutvam. Therefore, Pramatru doesn't get knowledge. Pramata doesn't get knowledge. The knowledge removes the very Pramatrutvam. It swallows the Pramatrutvam. It is the Sakshi consciousness which swallows Pramatrutvam and Prameyatvam. Pramatrutvam, Prameyatvam, both it swallows into it and remains consciousness. And that is the Jnana. Okay? Therefore, the Aham thought about myself. See, I have a thought about myself. The thought alone is me. Jiva, Pramatru. What is Jiva? What is Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktru? Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktru means Pramata, Karta, Bhokta. In Kannada, Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktu. In Telugu and Sanskrit, you call Pramata, Karta, Bhokta. In Sanskrit as well as Telugu, same thing is used. So, Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktru. So, you understand Pramatru, Kartru, Bhoktru is not true to Atma. This Pramatrutvam is not true to Atma. Atma is something different from Pramatrutvam. Pramatrutvam thought I have about myself is not about real self. It is a wrong thinking about myself. Pramatrutvam is a wrong thought about myself. My real self doesn't lend itself to be thought of as a Pramatru. This is Jnanam. Okay. That means you understand Pramatrutvam is not a thought about Atma. It is a wrong thought about Atma. It is not a real thought about Atma, because no thought can objectify Atma. No thought can apply to Atma. Any thought you think about Atma is a wrong thought. Therefore, that Pramatrutvam about Atma is also a wrong thought, because Atma itself is beyond any thought. Therefore, the thought of I goes wrong. The thought of I is a wrong thought about Atma. Wrong thought means what? See, look at the Atma where the I thought doesn't exist for it. It is beyond I thought. I thought it leaves, it drops off I thought and remains Atma. Atma remains like in deep sleep. In deep sleep, you have no I thought. You have no Pramatrutvam. You remain without Pramatrutvam. That is Jnanam. That means this Pramatrutvam is a false thought. That means I am not an object of Pramatrutvam thought. Atma is not a Pramatru. Then when Atma is not a Pramatru, the thought of Pramatrutvam is a wrong thought. Atma is free from Pramatrutvam. Yet I have a thought of Pramatrutvam. That means Pramatrutvam is not about the Atma. It is about Anatma. This is Jnanam. Okay. Jnanam andre people keep on imagining. Dropping away all imaginations is Jnanam. When all the imaginations are dismissed, what remains of Swatasiddham is Atma. Therefore, Atma's consciousness is neither an object of Pramana nor the subject of Pramana. Subject means a Pramatru. Atma is neither subject nor object, neither Pramatru nor Prameya. Therefore, Bhashyakara says in 4th Sutra, Adbhutavage, he says wonderfully, very greatly, he says, Adhyasam Puraskritya, Atma is not a Vishaya of any Pramata, any Pramana, any Pratyaya. So, any Pratyaya, therefore, what is Brahmajnanam? Understanding any Pratyaya, any Vritti about Atma is not a true Vritti. Atma itself is in such a state that it is not available for any Vritti. It's not to be believed just because Shastra said it. See in your Anubhava, I stand as consciousness. That consciousness itself is neither Pramatru nor Prameya. It's not available as Prameya, nor it can stand as Pramatrutvam. It is something beyond Pramatrutvam. That means beyond Pramatru, Prameya go together. Once you transcend Pramatrutvam, you transcend Prameya also. Pramatru, Prameya both go together. Both go away. Therefore, understanding means any thought is going to be a wrong thought. any thought is a wrong thought. That means Atma itself is self-shining. It neither needs a thought. Atma doesn't need a thought to know. Atma doesn't need a thought. But if you have a thought, even the thought is a wrong thought. That's what it means. Wrong thought means what? Atma's nature is not available to any pramatrutvam, prameyatvam. Pramatru thought and prameya thought. So Pramatru thought, Prameya thought don't apply to Atma. I stand at such a level where I am neither Pramatru nor Prameya. Like in Sushupti. As in Sushupti, I am just a pure consciousness without being Pramatru and Prameya. This understanding is Jnanam. Okay. This knowledge is Jnanam. Therefore, Pramanadi Vyavahara Vishaya, Atma is not a Atma is beyond all pramana, Vyavahara beyond pramatrutvam. So no pramatru, no pramana, no prameya can reveal, can talk of Atma. Pramananam avidya vishayatve shanka. You told pramana is also his misunderstanding. Now he gets a doubt. Purvapakshi gets a doubt. He is surprised. How come? How come pramana, Shruti pramana reveal Atma? Shruti pramana reveals Atma not as a prameya and not as a pramatru. By setting aside pramatru and prameya, it reveals. That means Atma by its nature is neither pramatru pratyaya vishaya nor prameya pratyaya vishaya. No pratyaya vishaya. Then no pratyaya reveals the Atman. All pratyayas are adhyastam, kalpitam in the Atma. That is the idea. Okay. Therefore, Atma is not pramana vishaya. When we say, people, they keep imagining so many things. But the simple straight vishaya is, Atma is free from pramana vyavahara. Pramananam avidyavad vishayatve shanka. Now there is a doubt. Purvapakshi, our student, raises a doubt. Against what? A doubt regarding that pramanas. Pramanadi vishayas. Pratyaksha, Anumana, all these pramanas reveal only avidya vishayam. Means an adhyastha point. Pramanas reveal not directly the Atma, because from the Atma level, pramana itself doesn't exist. So, pramana functions. Pramana functions and reveals its knowledge only by losing itself. Pramatrutvam loses itself. Prameya loses itself. Okay. Itidam adhyasa sadbhavam upadayitum shankodbhavam. This shanka is raised here, doubt is raised here to show how everything is due to adhyasa. That is the point. Therefore, siddhe kalu bhavad varnita adhyasa sadbhave tasya vidya nivartyatva rupam avidyatvam siddhyati. Purvapakshi is raising. Okay. A doubt, samshaya, or Purvapaksha, you can say anything. Siddhe kalu bhavadvarnita adhyasa sadbhave tasya vidya nivartatva rupam avidyatvam siddhyati. First, show that there is an adhyasa. If you show that there is an adhyasa, then we think of correcting it with jnanam. But we have no adhyasa at all. This is what people talk of it. See, this is very peculiar. This is a Purvapaksha. But many people only put this question. That means they are all Purvapakshas, unconscious Purvapakshas. Siddhe kalu bhavadvarnita adhyasa sadbhave tasya tasya vidya vinivartya rupam avidyatvam siddhyate. If adhyasa or avidya is established in our anubhava, then knowledge which removes adhyasa can come. Okay. If adhyasa or avidya itself is not there, how can there be jnanam? Jnanam comes only to correct the adhyasa, misunderstanding. If misunderstanding itself is not there, then where is the question of jnanam? Therefore, avidya nivartatvam rupam avidyatvam tatha cha brahma jignasa upakramopapattihi. If avidya is there, then jnanam can remove avidya, we can prove it. If avidya is there, we can try to teach them to correct his misunderstanding. Okay. Natu sadbhavah nadhyapi saditaha. He says, you have not proven adhyasa. You have not proven avidya by any pramana. Purvapakshi is asking. You have not proven pramana, avidya by any pramana. Natu sadbhavo nadhyapi saditaha. You have not proven the existence of avidya. Nahi lakshana pranayana viroda pradarshana matrena adhyasa seddhumarhati. Just by giving a definition, just by showing the pramana, you can't establish adhyasa. Then how else you establish adhyasa? Nahi lakshana pranayana viroda pradarshana aviroda pradarshana matrena. Writing a definition and showing how our definition is contradicting, self-contradictory. Just by showing this way, you think that you can understand everything. Tatacha brahma jignasa upakramo upapattihi natu sadbhavo nadhyapi sampaditaha. Therefore, brahma jignasa, the knowledge is not seddhumarhati, adhyasa cannot be established. Now nahi shukti rajatadi nahi lakshana adaitu nahi shukti rajatadi katichana lokasiddha adhyasa nirdarshana valam sarvasyapi vyavaharasya varnita adhyasa purvakatvopadanaya. Now show me where is adhyasa. That can be removed by jnanam. But if you show other ones like samasa prakarana, laukika drishtanta, there is ignorance in laukika drishtanta. With the help of it, you can't prove atmadhya. There is an adhyasa in our atma. Therefore, adhyasa cannot be proven by pramanas. Nahi shukti rajatadi katichana lokasiddha adhyasa nidarshana malam. The example, taking an illustration of laukik example, worldly instances, taking the worldly instances as an example to prove that Atma Jnanam is there doesn't work, it is wrong. Sarvasyapi vyavaharasya varnita adhyasa purvakatvopadanaya, because all the adhyasas are in the one common adhyasa. There are not many adhyasas, okay? Only one. Then this being the case, all vyavahara is due to adhyasa alone. Okay. Tat kathamidam siddhavan nigadati bhagavan tamedam. Then when there is no adhyasa, when there is no avidya that can be proven in your life, then why take it for granted and say that, oh, it's like this? You're taking for granted and explaining. So to this, Vedantan replies, Tametam avidyakyam adhyasam puraskritya sarve pramana prameya vyavahara. So pramanas are not going to prove your Atma. Pramanas cannot prove the nature of Atma and discovery of Atma. If the pramanas do not reveal the Atman, pramanas themselves function in the consciousness of the Atman. Therefore, Atma is not a Vishaya of any pramana. And avidya also. Where is avidya? Avidya is swabhavika, naisargika. Don't expect that avidya will be visible everywhere with the help of the pramanas. If you use pramanas to try understand avidya, your study itself will go waste. Tameta madhyasam paraskutya sarve pramana prameya vyavahar. This is the point he is trying to convey. All the pramanas are within adhyasa. Taking adhyasa into consideration, all the pramanas you find, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, ityadi. Okay, this paragraph is over. I think we will stop with this today. Next class, 38 nalli, in the 38th point, first paragraph is over. Second paragraph is also good about pramanas alone. He is talking how pramana is also pramatru, is also all that is mithya, all that is adhyasta. He will show it. Next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Tats.